Ghost Train by Stephen Wyllie and illustrated by Brian Lee. Notice the sound in the distance. Notice the holographic pictures. Notice the tikis and the witches on top, and the ravens on the bottom, and the arachnids at the base, and the griffins surrounding the authors and the illustrators of the book. This video was taken by a video from MM period. This is obviously not me. So let us move on. On moonlit nights, the gray lady liked to float through the garden 2 feet above the ground. And I would grin through the window at any unsuspecting soul who had the nuisance to bother me. There I am. All right, buttercup. You want to hear the story? Come here. Yeah, it's me. I remember I once stroked the cheek of a lady sitting at dinner, and she turned and slapped the face of the man sitting beside her. We all laughed so hard, we nearly lived. Yes, we nearly lived, buttercup. And there I am, the skeleton. Yeah, I've gained some figures since then. But looking back, I think we were too lively. Over the years, fewer and fewer people came to stay at Ravenswood Castle, until finally, there was no one living there at all. The poor castle died of neglect. Even we ghosts couldn't bring it back to life. When the roof fell in, we had to admit we were unemployed, out of a job. And there I was, in the mirror, getting shown out. My wife in the stairs. Where's that headless horseman? Or Ravenswick. Cheers to Ravenswick Castle. And all the fun we had there. My lady. And there's the headless horseman. Aha! Let's turn the page. There we are. We tried to move. For some time, we drifted around the country, looking for a place to haunt. We kept ourselves amused. Hector appeared out of nowhere to frighten a wary traveler. Hector being the headless horseman. That's what we like to call him. The gray lady, my waifu, an invisible instrument at a costume ball. I haunted the empty courtyards where I read this text right now, and where the squirrels and the and the stone statues hang out. I was very jaded that they did most of the work at that point. I admit. Excuse me. But we found a home eventually. Oh, there's Hector. We get it. We found this crazy place. After a few years, the novelty of new places wore off. A free-spirited is a restless one, and we needed a home of our own. One evening, as we drifted aimlessly about, the gray lady suddenly raised a ghostly hand. "Look," she said, "an amusement park." We glided unseen between the sideshows. Between the shadows and the sideshows, damn it. I mean, Hector and the gray lady whooshed and whirled in the bumper cars while I did a disappearing act on the Ferris wheel. They thought it was all a part of the show. And they cheered for us. But that wasn't our final home. As happy as we were, we'd wander from our home eventually. But you can see in the background there where we finally settled in. There it is. This is our home. But best of all, I saw a huge, brightly lit sign. "Ghost Train." "I don't believe it," said the gray lady. "A train especially for ghosts," said Hector. "Let's take a ride," I said. And a ride we did. Come up, Buttercup. Let's take a ride on the Goose Train. No, she wants to ride right beside me, not on the main train there. She wants to ride right back here. And as you can see, a few children got on as well, and the train clanked into a dark tunnel. We rumbled past a luminous cardboard skeleton jiggling up and down. A piece of cloth painted to look like a ghost brushed our faces, and from somewhere came the sound of scratchy music. Nobody was frightened. Hector, the gray lady, and me least of all. When the train came out of the tunnel, some of the children even asked for their money back. "This is terrible," said the man at the ticket booth. "We'll have to close down." Hector was terrified at how bad it was. You could see the gray lady. She's bored. I didn't even go in. I knew it would be bad. But we made it better. Oh, yes, we did. We made a nice home out of the ghost train. Oh, yes, we did. And there I am. We made it into an inferno. Hector, the gray lady, and I spirited ourselves into the tunnel and waited for the next train. As it turned the first corner, There I was, as a rattling, groaning, enormous skeleton. Help! Squealed the children. Hector was waiting at the next turn, dressed in a full clanging armor suit, tap dancing and jiggling his disembodied head. Ah! The children screamed! They shrieked! And before they could recover, the gray lady materialized, suddenly waving her claw-like talons. And an inferno erupted, and the train went 50 miles an hour out the door in a blaze. And yet, they were all very satisfied compared to what was the ghost train. There we all are, and there's the exit, back to reality. And there's all the design we put into it. You know, that's holographics. When the train came out of the tunnel, the children were as white as chalk, and they were still screaming. Then they lined up for another ride. Very soon, a crowd gathered, and a long line formed for a ride on the ghost train. Headless Hector, the gray lady, and I had found a home at last. The end. Here's the rest of the illustration. Again, I didn't take this video. I had to borrow it. I wanted to narrate it. It's a great book. There should be thousands more copies of this book at least, because it was cherished from my childhood. Thanks for reading along. Cheers. Again. From the ghost train. And have a good night wherever you belong. Whether it be a comfortable house, an apartment, just anywhere with a roof. Even if it happens to be a ghost train ride. Okay. A ghost train ride in the middle of a circus. Because that's where they found their place. Cheers.